Hi there. I'm Dr. Lynn McDonald, and this is Ben Hunt. And we have the lovely Ashley Cummings here to tell us a little bit about her story, starting on Fix, how she has benefited from it, and um, how she's maybe going to also be incorporating it with what she's already passionate about, which is herbs in the first place. She is the herb hippie. And yeah, Ashley, do you want to take over and a little bit and tell us about what life was like before Fix, and then finding it? How did you find it? And then a little bit more about how you are now, what's going on.
Okay, where to start? Always growing up, I've had very unregulated nervous system through trauma, through life, through so many different things to the point where I'd be shaken even just talking to my own parents, talking to anybody, even people that I felt comfortable with. It was like my body was just in a constant defensive state. Um, my hormones were terrible from a young age when I started my period. I was in and out of the doctors all the time, getting injections, getting put on the pill, trying to regulate it. Essentially, a little bit psychotic, if I'm going to be honest. I just felt like every time it came around to that time of the month, I couldn't stand talking to anybody. Everything anybody said, it was just, I would bite at them, constantly bite throughout life. Um, and then when my mum got in touch with yourself, she mentioned to me about Fix and said, I think you should really try this to help you. And I ordered that on the 6th of January. And since then, I've been taking it, and I no longer shake. I can hold eye contact with people. I smiling on a daily basis because I've no longer got that fight and flight mode with me. I can actually feel like I can just be comfortable and relax. Mm. Every day I'm living with the attitude of gratitude, and I just life's just so much better. And it's hard to put into words. Like I'll probably jump back and forward through different things, but taking that daily has just helped me as a person. And going through the last year that I've had with my partner, ex-partner now, every month, just constantly going over the same stuff, begging for love, begging for compassion, begging for some form of connection and attention. And I went on holiday over to Spain to see mum, and like I say, she recommended Fix to me. And when I started taking that, the thoughts started clearing. I no longer needed that from an outsider's perspective, because I was like, I'm strong enough to do all of this on my own. I can give myself the love. I can give myself that compassion. And why be around people that aren't serving you or filling your cup up as well as their own? And yeah, since, like I say, being on Fix, that's really helped me. And I'm enjoying it. I get up every morning. I'm like, yeah, a little cup of tea, my herbal brew. I do only take it once a day though, and that's in the morning. I know a lot of other people do it in the morning and then at night, but for now I'm just on once, and it seems to be leveling me out. Like I say, the shakes, like that was never normal for me to be able to just do that. It's normally like,
And did you have the shakiness all the time, or did it come and go?
no, it was pretty much all the time. Like I said, I've worked in different industries, and even just speaking to customers, it was like oh my God, they're going to see me kind of way. Does that make sense?
So you
Like,
were self-conscious about it.
yeah. And I think that's where the shakes came from, my self consciousness. And I suppose feeling like an imposter, working in a cafe that was a healing center, and not, I've done the work myself, but when other people are coming to you, sometimes you still feel that impostery way. Like, life's never going to be perfect. But as long as you're working on it, that's what makes it perfect. If you sweep everything under the rug, then, you know, it's not going to
Yeah.
work. When people were coming to me with their issues, I would feel like I was getting a defense mechanism, or maybe like the fight and flight mode coming back, and then I'd start to be quite shaky. And then after taking Fix, I can openly talk to people about everything. But
So it seems like you were maybe second guessing yourself in
yeah,
But now you've got more confidence to know things are okay. I can do this.
Yeah, definitely. It's
So
weird that one little bottle can actually give you all that power.
that is crazy, isn't it? It really is. But it's like night and day, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. And when I was moving, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my little bottle for like 3 days.
Oh my
And
goodness.
finally, the shakes never came back, and I actually started my moon cycle when over those 3 days that I didn't have it. The only thing was this time it was more painful compared to the past 2 months.
Okay.
Normally, when I'm on it with the fix, it's not painful anymore, but I did get more pain this time. But the emotional part of it and the hormonal part of it seemed to be non-existent. I wasn't teary. I wasn't wanting to chew anybody's heads off. What they wanted to me, and I was like, yeah, sure.
Would you describe what you had as PMT, or do you think it was more severe than just standard PMT?
Well, I had a fallopian tube removed after an ectopic pregnancy, and it seemed to, after that, my periods seemed to be very painful. And that was what, 2015. So since then, it's always been an extreme pain to the point that I was off work the majority of the time when it came. Yeah. Whereas now I can happily saunter into work and still do my usual. And it's like that advert for Tampax or whatever that she's doing the gymnastics. Sorry,
So
Ben, you're just like mm.
that's made quite an impact on your life since 2015, hasn't it? Once a month, and probably a reminder of the trauma of losing that pregnancy as well. Because that's huge. Usually for women, that's really traumatic, an ectopic pregnancy.
Well, I ran away to Brighton and just hit the drugs and alcohol hard after that. So
Wow.
yeah. hmm
So
After
you said that I mean, you've pushed on through. You've worked, like you said, in different industries. You've managed to function
yeah.
all of your life up to this point, just with this constant, like, nervous wreck kind of. That's that's what they used to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constant fight and flight all the time.
What about relationships? Family, romantic relationships. How did it affect you there?
Um, well, my partner, so I was with my husband for 7 years, and he used to say that I was extremely intense to the point that he'd want to just go and stay with his dad when it came to that time of the month. Um, and again, when it was that time of the month, it was like I was bottling everything up through the month, and then at that point, I would just be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm saying everything I need to say all now. Um, so it was probably quite hard for them to be around me too, because I would plod along through life as if everything was all right, and then at that one point of the month, I'd just be like, actually, you know what, X, Y, and Z, I'm not happy with it. You don't do that for me. And then that person's like, whoa, where did that come from? And as in for family, I used to get told that I bite too much and oh, it's just a joke, it's just a joke, you're taking things too seriously. And yeah, so now since, like I say, been on this since January 6. We're at the end of March now, and the relationships I have with my parents, with my family, so much better. I can be more open about it. I'm not as worried about judgment. In fact, I'm not worried about judgment at all because it is just their perception and their own opinion. But I'd no longer get that, oh, I'm a disappointment to you, maybe that kind of feeling.
Yeah. So less self-judging and
Yeah.
more forgiving.
hmm
Yeah. And going back to, because you said ever since you were a little girl, you had been like that, like sort of in like nervous, like edgy, fight and flight mode. Was there something particularly in your childhood that started that off, or that you can remember, or
I can remember, no, but when I was 3, I don't have this memory, but family members remind me of it. When I was 3, I spilled juice on the couch, and they said that the way that I reacted, it was like I was going to get tortured or something.
Hmm.
But it was a case of, oh, don't worry, Ashley. But the way that my response was before anybody had even seen it was a panic and a fear and a frightened.
Wow.
Like my childhood, it was well, let's think. My childhood, we moved around a lot. And I think I'm probably like on my 40th house or something like that.
Wow, that's a lot.
At 34 years old or something.
Wow.
So as a child, mum and dad split up. We continued to move from Scotland to Spain and then back to Scotland, and then I continued doing that, moving to Brighton and then back to Spain myself. But there's nothing that I can really pinpoint that gave me that fear or gave me that fight and flight defense mechanism. It could have been generational. It could be the energy that I was picking up from other people around me. But I feel like I had to grow up too quickly as a child.
Right. Okay. So you've mentioned energy as well, and that's something that I'm really into, energy healing and the energy around people and places and things. And I personally think that fix shifts the energy somehow in us, as well as, the physical and the emotional and the mental. There's something about the spiritual that happens too. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, definitely. But then when you're taking it, it's like it's all combined in one. You can't pinpoint what it is. I think we spoke about this before, about how people say, well, I stopped taking fix and my sore hand came back. You're like, well, that's because you stopped taking it. But when you're taking it, you don't notice that it's not sore.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's only when you stop taking something. I know, although when I stopped taking it for those 3 days when I couldn't find it and my period came on, I actually felt really good. So I guess it's all just different for other people. But I do believe there is an energy around it. Definitely.
Really hard, isn't it, to put into words what that shift is, because it's almost like there's no shift at all when you're on it. Because you don't say, I don't feel high, I don't feel dopey, I'm not stoned, I'm not buzzing, I'm not anything. I mean, for me, one of the biggest things, I like, exactly like you said, the negative self-talk, just the volume just turned right down to zero on that. And then I just went through life. I think the best way I could describe it is you go through life as you. It's like you, the way you're meant to be.
Yeah.
It feels incredibly normal.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like anything changes. You're just kind of stepping into what you're meant to be and how you're meant to live your life. There's no real epiphany or anything that just makes you go, yes, this is working. It's just, you no longer have a mask, I feel. I feel like,
it's like lifting a veil or something. It's like lifting the hair off that's unhelpful, that's now gone.
It's like it stops you from holding yourself back. I think.
I'm okay. The world's okay. Everything's okay. What are we going to do with our day?
And even if things aren't okay and they come into my existence, it's like I know how to deal with them better, and I say things without even thinking about them, and I'm like, whoa, that came out of me, but it sounds so right.
It's like getting into flow state, isn't it? It's like just being like, oh, life is flowing now, rather than you fighting against things. I love that.
Because like when you sometimes before, for me, like if I'm having a conversation with someone, I have to think about what I'm going to say in case it's going to offend, or not that I say much that'll offend people, but you do have that. You have that conscious thing where you're like, can I say that? Can't I say that? And now that's gone. It's just like, I'm just going to say it because why not?
Yeah, so you're getting to express what's in your heart and soul, rather than your brain trying to filter everything and like, is this right or wrong? Or so that there's like a loss of judgment from your brain going on. You're just allowing. I really like that. Yeah.
That speaks to the throat, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, the throat. Yeah,
we think about energy centers. I'd love to
throat chakra.
I'd love to get, somebody who's sensitive to these energies to go and read you, between before and after fix and say, is everything just like opened up? I've no idea.
Oh,
That's what it feels like. It's like you're connected from the top to the
yeah.
bottom. Your feet are
Grounded.
planted,
Yeah.
securely on the ground. You know where you are. You know who you are. It's not, like you say, it's not magical and sparkling, but it's just, yeah, this is me. This is life.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something very centering. This is like all your chakras are lit up like a Christmas tree sort of
Yeah.
going
That's
on.
how it feels. And a lot of people are trying so hard to work on the top 3 because that's what we've been told to do. But actually, we should be working on the lower parts. Everything in the world is flipped, isn't it? So
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
I feel like fix. Sorry, I keep saying hops. I feel like fix really does help center every single part of you all the way through. And especially for me, because I'm feeling it more within my lower, my sacral, my root, that's a big thing. Like there's no longer that feeling of heaviness there anymore. And I feel like those were really blocks. Like I can tap into my own higher power. I love sitting with just my higher self. So the top 3 chakras for me, top 4, sorry, are pretty okay. But the lower ones, that's much more centered for me, and it just feels like everything is in alignment now.
It does sound like it. When you're talking about your ectopic pregnancy, that's going to be a sacral wound, isn't it? Which is obviously your seat of creativity.
Yes.
And so it makes sense that if somehow energetically Fix is helping, that this you would get more not only confidence from the solar plexus area, but also now you can be more creative, be more, and you've just literally manifested, you're telling us, you've just literally manifested your ideal house as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
How grounded is that? And
Very grounded.
times, like, that's crown chakra stuff going and boom, this is just falling into place for you. Tell us what happened with your house.
Well, my friends got married, and when I was leaving my husband, her husband said to me, well, why don't you go and live in my home? You can just relax there. We've got the garden there and everything. And I've never seen his house before, maybe once or twice just moving stuff for him, but I've never actually noticed the gardens or anything like that. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And when I've walked out, there is just all these beautiful Japanese and exotic trees and everything that I've said to myself before I moved in here. I was like, right, I need to make a list of everything I need. And when I walked in here after him taking what he just wanted to take out of it, everything was here. A speaker, a strainer, like just the smallest little things that make you light up. You're like, yes, I can make a cake and strain my flowers and my flower. And like silly things like a dining table. I was like, I need to buy a dining table, and then I pull one out of a cupboard. That's one of these fold-away ones. But everything that I've literally needed has already been provided for me here. And it also came with 2 dogs.
2 dogs?
2 dogs.
Right. What kind of dogs are they?
A dachshund and a chihuahua.
That's amazing.
I know. And like,
oh, and the other thing is you told us what 2 particular plants in the garden are?
yes, so we've got the hops plant.
Yeah.
We've got 2 or 3 out there, and I can't remember what the other one I said was. Got a Japanese. Nope. I forgot. Ben told me what it was.
I'll come back to you later. It'll be fine.
The other thing I wanted to ask about was you said that you've been married 7 years and that relationship has now come to an end, hence why you were looking for the place. What's changed in it? Is that relevant to your story?
In what manner? Sorry.
Well,
The place or
like the changes that have happened in the last couple of months since you've been on Fix, or is that not really to do with it?
no, definitely. Fix gave me the confidence to leave. Definitely gave me the confidence to leave because I'd been battling within myself for probably 5 years.
Wow.
Of monthly chats of we're too different, we don't connect, we've got nothing in common. but always having that chat, it was like, oh, well, I'll do better, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then nothing really ever came of it. And then it was the same again the following month with the following chat. Excuse me. And I think Fix really just, again, we're talking about not having that shift, but there was a shift, but you just can't pinpoint it. Fix allowed me to really sit with a clear mind and know that things were going to be okay. Like, no matter, like, before I would be like, oh, well, I've got to find a house, I've got to do this, I'm going to have to move away, I'm going to have to leave my cats. So many different things were coming up that was holding me in that space. And then after, like, say, probably, I only left last week, 2.5 months of being on Fix, it just kind of made me have that silence in my mind to be like, no matter what happens, you will be fine. And then I started speaking to my friends that have came into my life quite recently, and they all kind of put together just this little pathway for me to go into this new chapter in my life, I suppose. And they're all looking forward to try and Fix as well. So
That's amazing. That's just like you're letting the path unfold, which is what we're actually meant to do in life, but we're told otherwise, aren't we? We're told you can never manage without this or that, or if you do this, or we're kind of often held in fear, obligation, and guilt, I
yeah.
think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
And fear is obviously the worst energy to be stuck in because
definitely.
that's going to hold anyone back from anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
And for
opposite.
me, it was a bit about fear, because so when I moved to Brighton, I ended up with a person who was severely suicidal, manic depressive, depressant, musician, just the whole saga of it all, drugs, drink, and I ended up taking on his habits. I wanted to save him, but inevitably I ended up ruining myself with drugs and alcohol and self-destructiveness. And when I moved back over to Spain with him, I continued that. And even when I left him, I continued that. It was just a cycle of drama. And then Scott, my partner, my husband, he came over to Spain when I was going through quite a hard time and brought me back to the UK and was like, right, we'll just get you settled, we'll get you sober, we'll do what we need to do for you. And I think that guilt was what held me in that relationship for so long.
Right, because he'd saved you and then you felt obliged, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't fault him. He is who he is. He was never bad, never mean, never nothing like that, just like that. So we were just crossing paths, existing together in the same house without any connection, passion, or communication.
It's almost like you've learned along the way that was keeping you stuck, not living a life truly fulfilled if you were gonna just stay with that, even though out of kindness he'd done all that with you and for you, still wasn't a reason to stay. So it sounds like you have increased your own self-love and what you're wanting to get out of life and what you deserve. It sounds like that to me.
That's how it feels, definitely. About a year and a half ago, I went back over to Spain and done my Reiki level 1 and 2. And that kind of put me on that path of being like, I am worthy enough. I can love myself. The past Ashley no longer exists. She was there and saved me in dangerous and uncertain times and protected me with a defense mechanism. And I love her for that. But this is the Ashley that was really meant to step out and be like, Kim, what? All of you Ashleys are safe now.
Yeah.
So what does the future look like now?
Creative. Very creative. I've got my hopefully soon certified herb room. I've got that to get stuck into. I've got this place to decorate, and I'm going to do murals, and I've got the garden, and I really just want a simple life. I want to help people. I want to help them with their ailments. I want to help them see that pharmaceuticals are not the way at all. If anything, they do more damage, in my opinion. I want them to all come together and to be in harmony with one another instead of being this disconnection that us as humans have at the minute. So disconnected through media. All of it's through media. None of us are living a genuine life at the minute because we're all, well, us are exempt, I suppose, because we are looking into the alternatives and everything. But the majority of people nowadays are just so stuck on what Trump's doing or what Putin's doing, and it's like, why does that matter? All that matters is what your soul craves, and your soul doesn't crave that. So essentially, up at the farm that I was telling you about where my friends are, we're going to be creating, I want to say an intentional community, but then even that word's kind of been warped. But that's our plan, to build the yurt, to build the healing huts, to have the lotus lock, to have the live willow structure for people to come and pay and sleep under the stars while they're also healing and doing workshops, yoga, Reiki, energy flow. There's a lot going on in the future, and it's all to do with healing and doing it all yourself, not looking to outsiders to do it for you.
It sounds amazing. Can we come and visit?
Yes, of course, 100%.
Whereabouts is that?
It's in Scotland, so we're in the closest town would probably be Lesmahago, which is a little town in Lanark.
Okay. I've never heard of that town before, and I've lived in Scotland for most of my life.
Tiny.
Right.
But they have a farm, so it's quite a lot of land, and we're just going to get everything started as of this year, clearing everything down and starting our own builds. And we actually, at one of the markets that we done for the hair puppy last month, a lady wanted to film us for, is it free TV in America?
Oh.
So that'll hopefully get us some viewings for what we want to do and what we want to create. And if anyone else is interested in helping out, or even just if they're in Scotland and they've got a free day, coming up and help clear some bushes back and everything like that, and it will all be obviously being repaid with food, love, a free stay. We intend to do pay your way or earn your way. So if you don't have anything, you just come and work on it, and you do the workshops, and you grow your veg, you tend to the plants, you tend to the herbs, collect firewood, help build structures. So there'll be options for everybody.
Wow.
Exciting.
Do you think any of this would have been possible right now if you hadn't started on Fix, Ashley?
The talks were there of doing it, but the action wasn't there. The action is there now.
So the actioning's a big part of this, isn't it? Because ideas and thoughts and creativity were inside of you, but kind of stuck.
Yep. And since taking Fix, I've taken the reins, and I've just decided to become project manager on it and push it all into action.
Brilliant.
I love it.
Thank you. And like I say, you're both more than welcome to come up anytime. And even if you want to host a Fix retreat, or you never know, you could get, there's so much that can come from all these beautiful networking and possibilities.
That sounds fantastic. Your mum as well, she's actually in the business too with you, and she must be seeing such a difference with you.
Oh, she definitely is. 100%. She's watched me grow through every phase and every change and every drama.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, well done. Well done, because you've done this. I know you've taken a product which has helped maybe unblock things and maybe unleash the real you into the world, but it's all down to you for, actually trying it and going with it and seeing what was going to happen. And you never knew this was all going to happen, did you?
Definitely not. I thought I was going to just be stuck in my little world and plodding along. But no, we decided to chuck a grenade in there with some Fix and blow it up.
I love that.
Such an inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.